Hey folks, Matt from Art of the Image here. I had a reader write in asking me what my favorite prime lenses for the D7000 are. So I'm going to show you my top 4 prime lenses for the D7000. You can see the D7000 here with the Nikon 50mm f1.4G on it. It's a nice lens for the body, nicely balanced, keeps it nice and small and light. The 50mm f1.4G is a perfect portrait lens on the D7000 on a DX body. It becomes a 75mm field of view, so it's very similar to an 85mm, which we used to use for portraits all the time on full frame, and we shot film and still do on full frame. The 85 f1.8 is great on full frame. On the DX body though, like the D7000, the 50mm f1.4G is a fantastic prime for that because you're able to get a super fast prime in f1.4 for around $500 or $600 that becomes a 75mm field of view. So it's a perfect portrait lens for a very reasonable price to get the f1.4. So that is my first choice there. I love that 50 f1.4. It's probably I've got a thing for 50mm lenses, and the new Nikon 50mm f1.4G is just beautiful. It performs amazing. Gorgeous bokeh on it. It focuses really fast on the D7000 and it just renders beautiful image quality. My second lens that I would recommend is the Nikon 35mm f1.8, and that is the G as well, so it's the new DX lens. This is a DX lens, so you can't use it on an FX body. Actually, I should put a footnote in there. You can actually use it on a DX body. You just get a little vignetting in the corners. It actually works quite well on a DX or on an FX body. Quite a few people will use these on a D700 or on a D3 because it's an extremely sharp lens. Which is my next point. It's an extremely sharp lens. So the 35mm f1.8G is very, very sharp. It focuses very fast, and it's an incredible value. These things are around $200, $250. You pair that up on the D7000 and you've got a fantastic lightweight prime on there. It's super fast at f1.8 in comparison to any other kit lens or even a lot of primes that are 2.8. So you put the 35 f1.8 on your D7000, it's a perfect field of view as well because it basically brings you back to the traditional 50mm field of view. So rather than using a zoom, use your feet. You get an f1.8 lens, super sharp, and you can use it for wide if you back up. You can use it for long if you get in close, and you basically can have that on your lens. You can leave it on your D7000, that 35mm f1.8 lens, and shoot almost anything with it, and you get the advantage of having a super fast lens and a super sharp lens, and the price, you just can't beat it. My third recommendation here for prime lenses would be the Nikon 105 f2.8 VR. Now this is the AFS Micro Nikkor 105 f2.8 GED VR, and it's got the N for nano coating, so it's quite a mouthful for a lens name. It is a fantastic lens. It also doubles, you can use it for a macro, so you get the best of both worlds because it makes an excellent portrait lens both on FX and on DX bodies, and it is a fantastic macro lens, so for close-ups of bugs and ring shots at weddings and anything you want to do close-ups of, fantastic lens, delivers amazing image quality. When you're doing portraits with it, it has a beautiful blown-up bokeh, even nicer than the Nikon 70-200 f2.8 VR. And so it's a great lens to use. Some people, when I tell them I'm shooting with the 105, they say, that lens doesn't focus that fast. My answer to that is, it doesn't focus that fast when it's in full macro mode. There's a limiter switch on here, and when you have it in full, which allows it to go right into the macro settings and the macro focus for close-ups, you're right, it can hunt a little bit. When you switch it over to infinity to 0.5 meters, which is the limiter switch, it becomes quite a fast focusing lens. I have no issues with this lens for focusing when the limiter switch is on. On the D7000, this is a fantastic lens. It becomes about a 160mm lens. So you get a fast 2.8 160mm lens with VR, and these you can have for around $800 to $900 if you shop around. So a fantastic lens, and it doubles as your macro. So it can be a portrait lens and your macro lens. You can even use it as a long lens. It becomes like a 160 field of view on the D7000, so it's great at receptions and things like that. Now the other lens I'm going to sneak in here, obviously The only true DX lens in here is the 35mm. They all work on the D7000 though. The other lens I'm going to sneak in is the 20mm F28 D. This is an older lens, older prime, one of Nikon's best. It's nice and wide, especially on an FX body. It works beautifully for wide. But on the DX body, it gives you about a 30mm field of view. It's f2.8, so it's fairly fast. Not quite as fast as an f1.8 or an 1.4, but it's a really nice lens. It's light. You can pick them up used for about $250 to $300, just depending on how you're lucking out there with pricing. And it's a really nice light lens. As a matter of fact, if you were just going to pick two primes to shoot with, the 20mm and the 50mm become two excellent primes at a good price, and you could shoot just about anything with that if you're doing portraits or at a wedding or whatnot, because the 20 gives you your wider end, the 50 gives you your longer end. They're both fast lenses and they work very well. If you want to save a little extra money, you can pick up the 20mm 2.8D used and pick up a 50mm f1.8D instead of the 1.4G. You should be able to get them both for well under $500. You have two extremely sharp lenses, very high performing lenses, great resolution, very sharp lenses, and you're not spending a lot of money. You're keeping your kit nice and light, and you got two excellent primes. These are the four primes that I carry a lot: the 50mm, the 35, the 105, and the 20mm. They're all excellent. I use the 105 in place of the 85 f1.8, which I used to shoot with a lot. The 105 has nicer bokeh, and it has the VR, and it doubles as a macro. So that's why it replaced the 85 in my bag. Those are my four favorite primes. So that's what I use a lot on the D7000. I also use all these a lot on my D700. So if you're shooting with two bodies like I am, an FX and a DX, I have a D700 and the D7000. I shoot with those in tandem. You can use all four of these primes on both bodies, so they become even more versatile. So stay tuned to Art of the Image. We'll get you some more articles soon, some more video posts. Thanks for tuning in, folks.